going live. We're live. Let me pop this open real nice and big for us. Whew. Dang, that was a process tonight. I never have issues like that. Let me get in here, get myself all situated. Man, before I do this, I need to crack a beer. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce hooked me up with a, what is it? New Trail Brewing Company. And it's a Slopeside Hazy Double IPA. After the day I had, actually, after the week Neubs and I had at school.
Yeah.
Woo.
It was a 5-day week.
I'll tell you what, it was Wednesday, and I was like, man, this has been a tough 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This New Trail.
Seriously, it was crazy.
Hazy IPA.
It was crazy.
Delicious.
Oh, is that a good one, too?
Oh, my God. And it matches my shirt.
New Trail. Where's that at? Color coordinated.
Thank you. This is really good. Where'd you eat these?
Yeah. I think they're local, right? New Trail. Right, never heard of it. I'll have to track it down, though. Hey, let's see. The NFL draft, check. MLB, well underway, check. NBA, NHL playoffs are inching closer to crowning a champion for 2022-23. And summer, just on the horizon, right? Kids are almost done with school locally. Well, Mike and I got another month, but we'll make it. Though the full crew couldn't be here with us tonight, Neubs and I are hanging out at Primetime Sports Collectibles with my guy, Bruce Fuselier. Did I say that right?
Fuselier.
Fuselier. He got the little, he's from Louisiana, so he's got the little French in there. Native Louisiana guy. We're going to talk some MLB draft. His team's the LSU Tigers, right?
Yeah.
LSU Tigers. They're loaded with top-tier first-round guys. We're also going to dig into his vision of the 2023 NFL season, talk a little bit about hot sports cards with him, brands currently to invest in, along with players who are ascending to stardom, you guys. Get your pad and paper ready. He's going to share with us projected dates for early football releases because I know everybody's going to want that. And if you're a hockey fan, he may know a little bit something about when some hockey stuff's going to be released because the hottest prospect since Connor McDavid will be hitting the market in Connor Bedard. So it's going to be a fun one. Hang on. Bruce, what's going on, man?
All right.
Thanks for having us here. It's not like it's my first time. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this place is awesome. It's my first time. This place is awesome.
I wish I could.
I'm like in heaven. I could spend hours here just looking. It's like a museum.
Yeah, it really is. He's got anything and everything here that you're looking for.
Yeah.
In fact, by the end of the show, he's going to give you all his info. And if you're looking for anything, sports cards, autograph stuff, memorabilia, he probably has it in here somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's got the proverbial Antonio Brown team series thing there, probably closing those out.
Antonio Brown. Yes, I will give a great deal. Antonio Brown with a Carson Wentz. So we're doing
2 for 1.
Yes, we got quarterback to receiver, all Philly, Pennsylvania right there. So.
Nice.
So give us a little background on you. I know you told us a little bit about why you made your way here to the north from Louisiana. So let everybody else know.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in New Orleans. Lived there for up until my 30s or something. Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, Saints, all that kind of stuff. Big LSU fan since I was a kid. Got chased away out of New Orleans after Katrina. Damage to the house. Reset up shop for a couple years and kind of sought higher ground. So I figured I'd move to Baton Rouge because I'm a big LSU guy. Get back full time into my collectibles. Had a store there for 10 years. Flooded again there, so I flooded twice in about 10 years, and just kind of had enough of all that. The wife at the time was from up here, so I took a big chance, sold the business, and moved up here. And honestly, the best decision I could ever made. I mean, just way better up here, more sports. 13 teams within 3 hours.
Yeah.
And just way more hardcore collectibles. We like our collectibles down there, Saints and LSU, but it's not like up here. It's just so much more. So
you're a big Saints guy?
Not really.
No?
I mean, I grew up 70s, 80s, and I mean they were terrible. So you basically get cured of that. Do
you still have your bag?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Remember they used to wear the bags to the games?
Yeah, they were wearing them last year.
So. That's what we.
Well, I only ask you that because, we could talk about it a little bit later, but a local kid, actually Mike coached against him. how you say that last name? Brisset.
Brazil. Yeah.
Just signed today too. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's going to set the family up, man.
Yeah.
4 years, 12.2. Good for him.
Yeah.
Man.
Exactly.
Good for him.
Good kid. Good contract. And, great kid. He'll do well for them.
So let's talk a little bit about the baseball draft. Like I said, I know you're a big Louisiana baseball guy. I mean, we're friends on Facebook, and I see you put a lot of clips out there. You've gone to see him play several times. They've got some guys that are definitely destined to be in the top round, if not the top 2-3 rounds. So what do you think about that? Will the Pirates take Dylan Cruz?
Well, yeah. So we, let's go back in time. So before the season even starts, I start talking about Pirate baseball, and I told you, I was like, wow, I see this coming from a mile away. I like this lineup. Like, they have this lineup that is kind of a complete situation, and we're really not there yet. They have more kids coming, but I kind of liked what I was starting to see. I'm like, there's really no outs in this lineup, and they've got a lot of things covered, and get some pitching, and I think we got something, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's 2-3 years from now, but that's here now, right now. So here we are. But so we were talking about that, and I was chiming in about my 2 cents about Dylan Cruz coming and the impact he could have, or if they wanted a pitcher, this Paul Skeens kid that's Air Force transfer, and so it's really interesting what they could do. Either one of the kids, you could take a kid like Cruz. I don't even know if you start him at Double A. I mean, he's ready. Double A, Triple A, where you want to put him.
It just depends on Cherington. To be honest with you, he has. I'll give him credit where credit's due. And I know a lot of people are mad at the Pirates have kind of hit the skids lately, but nobody expected them to be 23-20 at this point this year. Last year, they were buried already at this point. They were like 7-8 games under 500. So, to be a game out of first, still in a wild card spot. I mean, baseball at the end is a game of numbers. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And my son won't let me get down on him. He'll wax me every time I say something negative about the Pirates. But I'd love to see them get the Cruz kid, because I don't feel like the outfield is solidified with what they have. I mean, I love Reynolds. I love the signing.
And I was thinking of this earlier, having this discussion, looking at him, right? Because I like Reynolds. Great. I mean, everybody likes Reynolds, right? So you're looking at Reynolds and you're like, so is he Reynolds, but probably a little better, right?
Yeah.
He's probably a little better. So, I mean, how nice an outfield would that be, right?
That pedigree that he brings is ridiculous.
He's going to swipe some bags, 20, 30 bags. He'll hit 20, 30 homers. He's going to bat 280 to 310.
Generational talent?
Yeah. I tell you who he reminds me of. I don't like to say it, right? Because that's like too much to say it, but like he kind of reminds you of like the Troutish kind of guy, maybe not quite as thick, but bats 280 to 310, 320 in the pros, and going to hit 30 homers, and you know what I mean? So
he's batting 445 right now in college. That's pretty damn impressive.
Maybe he can get on the Barry Bonds diet and get himself bulked up so he looks like Trout a little
Well,
more.
we don't want to do that. Hey, so isn't there a date for rookies? Like if they come up after a certain date, then it doesn't count towards the rookie year, like as far as the contract goes.
Yeah.
There's a date.
Super
there's
two.
like an incentivized thing, right? Where if they hold them out for just a little bit and then start them.
April 15th or 16th or something?
No, June 2nd.
June
Super
2nd.
2 is June
Super
2nd.
two?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
Yeah,
then
so if they wait to June 2nd, then they get another year. They hold them. They have possession of them for another year.
on June 2nd, their contract, they don't, they're
Extends a year or something.
Yeah, they get an extended year.
Right.
They can go to arbitration for
Maybe.
one extra year.
Okay.
But what's happening is the Pirates have become a little bit smarter. Like they bought Reynolds out of some years and gave him that nice long deal. They did it with Hayes, who, he's not necessarily killing the ball, but, his ability to essentially play third base, he's probably one of the best third basemen in the league right now as a defensive guy. And I think they're going to buy out O'Neal Cruz's stuff. That kid's he's a freak too. But imagine having Cruz and Cruz on the same team.
Yeah.
That would be sick. That would be sick. They need the pitching though. So
they kind of, say this, they kind of have the marketing thing is built in, right?
Yeah.
So like you have the Cruz brothers.
yeah,
I mean, so the marketing is already there just within a couple of years,
Yeah.
for them to do that.
yeah, exactly.
Now, if you want to go pitching, because we mentioned this too, I feel like the Pirates could use a pitcher or two.
Yeah,
Skeens, I tell you what, I meet this kid in person, and I mean everything jumps off the chart at you. His first off, him coming from the background, and Dylan's another one too. The family background's unbelievable. Just great, good people, good character people. The kids are just right. You know what I mean? They're involved in stuff in the community in Baton Rouge. Donating money and time and stuff. So, but you look at the Skeens fella too. I mean, big kid. Meeting him in person, he's Roger Clemens.
Wow.
He is a big kid, and
6'5",
6'7",
6'7".
6'7". Yeah. And every bit of it. And he's thick, he's big, and they got him pitching, and he's pitching 99, he's pitching 102, and this is really an effortless motion. We're hitting on Strasburg. It's not this herky jerky motion. It's a nice clean set delivery,
Gotcha.
fire, and so interesting.
Yeah, we're looking at it right there. So Major League Baseball, they're mock drafting him second to.
That does look really easy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good for the elbow, making it look that easy.
Yeah.
And look at his reach. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow. That's playing for USA Baseball. Then.
Yeah,
That's pretty
that'll
neat.
be weird. So if Cruz goes to the Pirates, will Skeens go to the Nationals? In your opinion?
Yeah, so they're saying, does Pittsburgh want a pitcher and take him, or are they going to take the Cruz, and then it sounds like they're leaning towards, right, Cruz go to Pittsburgh, becoming the highest paid bonus in drafted player in MLB history, which I think is correct, and then Skeens would fall to number 2, right?
Right.
And go to the Nationals right here. So we'd have both these guys right here in the front yard and the backyard in this area. So
Interesting. That would be
That'd be really cool.
that'd be amazing to see that happen.
It would. What are your thoughts on high school versus college? Like picking a guy in the first round, the top 10 picks. Like,
me personally, I don't get it. From my standpoint of the high school kids are so boom or bust, and I understand you get them earlier to teach them better habits, perhaps, but and then they're also so much further away. Usually, they're so much further away. Whereas, you're coming from a program in the SEC, like these kids are, where they're, SEC is what, AAA baseball. You know what I mean?
Much.
So I mean, they're kind of ready to go now. I understand, sometimes you'll have Bobby Woods, or you'll have who's the one right now, Jackson Holiday. These kids might be up in the pros at 20. So I get that, but I'm a bit of a Braves fan, and it kills me that they keep taking high school pitchers. I'm like, man, these kids are like 6 years away. From. So.
Yeah, I hate that. The Pirates have taken so many high school kids. They took that Tamar Johnson last year, and the kid's a stud, but what's he in, high A right now, or A ball? How many years is it going to take him to actually get to the show and be productive for them? I don't know. So
I mean, think of this. So he does what he's supposed to, and he progresses. And, let's say he comes up at 25, which is not bad. I mean, that's not bad. 25 years old, here he comes. He's got a long career ahead of him, but that's 6 years later.
Cruz is coming out playing next year, probably.
I mean, I would expect he's going to come in.
land in Double A.
Well, I guess you're starting for just a cup of coffee in A, right? Cup of coffee in A, and boom, he's up to Double A within a few weeks. And then I guess could he end the season in triple? Maybe, maybe not. And then next year I'd expect Double A, Triple A, and he flies right through. Maybe he's up in the pros at the end of the year. So maybe September of next year I'd expect him to be seeing.
How old is he?
He's what, 21?
21. So by the time he's 23, he should be in the bigs. He should be on the bigs field.
Yeah, seems like.
That would be amazing. I'll tell you what, he could be that piece that puts a team like Pittsburgh over the top. Even like if he would, like, say the Pirates would go with this kid here, the Skinnis kid, or I read today that if the Pirates don't take Cruz, that they are looking at Tyler Langford. There's mentions of Tyler Langford.
Is that the shortstop from Florida or no? Who's that?
No, he's from. I was just looking at him.
Or no, there's a shortstop from Ole Miss, and then there's an outfielder from
Tyler
Florida.
Langford.
He definitely they won't take
Wyatt
the shortstop.
Langford.
Oh,
Outfielder
Wyatt
from Florida.
Langford, my fault.
From
Oh,
Florida.
yeah.
He's from Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ripping the cover off the ball too. Though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but still, even at
The only reason in my mind that happens is if they don't want to pay Cruz. Is you take him, you land a little softer, but legitimately all the money winds up getting spent anyway because like you were talking, they're kind of slotted.
Mhm.
So last year, Drew Jones wanted X amount, and the Orioles said we're not paying it. We're not going to pay it, and then they took Jackson Holliday, who still wound up being the highest paid high schooler ever. You know, so
yeah. Holidays. When they get him up on that team with the Orioles, right?
my God, they got so much.
Once Gunnar Henderson figures it out at third, because he's not hitting the ball right now, and then the way Adley's ripping the cover off the ball, I feel like they're pretty good at pitching, and they still don't have Grayson Rodriguez up yet. You know, I mean, the Orioles are going to be legit. They're going to be legit. We did go to that. We went to see the Pirates and the Orioles on Mother's Day, and that's the third time I saw the Pirates play this year. They won all three. So I was telling somebody that one of my friends back home, and they're like, "You need to go to every game."
To the Orioles?
No, the Pirates.
Oh, tough.
But,
All right.
you know, and I'll tell you about Cruz real quick. Is he's been playing Team USA baseball, Team USA baseball since 15, right?
Wow.
I mean, this is just what he's done for the past 6-7 years, all right? And that's all your elite, signees, draftees, all your Harpers and Strasburgs and all that. He played on Team USA with Tamar Johnson. So he knows all these guys.
He's older than Tavar too, right?
Yeah.
He's got to be older than him.
Big stage.
Interesting.
Bruce, how do you see the NBA and NHL finishing out?
Oh gosh, believe it or not, I'm going to say this. I was polling for LeBron to win a championship this year because I really wanted him to sneak one in when nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
And I know he gets to be a little tough to root for. But and then now that we're getting close, I was like, boy, that'd be great, Lakers Celtics. But
That's a good point.
I tell you right now, it looks like the Joker in Denver. Mike, who's going to beat him? I don't see it. So.
I never really followed him until last year, and he's dominating.
Yeah.
And more than LeBron for the Lakers, it's Rui. He's really the guy. I'd love. I grew up a Lakers fan. We didn't have basketball in Pittsburgh, so I grew up a Lakers fan. First, it was the Sixers and Dr. J and Moses and those guys moved on. So I became a Lakers fan. I love Magic Johnson, and then Shaq went there. So and Kobe.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got away from it a little bit because I didn't like the super team stuff. I didn't like LeBron going there and the super team stuff. I just don't like it.
It feels like a front runner.
Right. We were talking today about the Bulls, and Jordan didn't go out and recruit guys for a super team. He made a super team by being who he was. And, it is what it is, but I'm just not down with it personally. I'd rather see you draft some guys, develop them, and have a player or two that makes them even better.
It'd be crazy to see Miami get there from the 8 seed.
All Vincent talks about is Jimmy Buckets.
Yeah.
That's all he talks about. He loves Jimmy Buckets, baby.
That'd
That's
be
his
wild.
boy.
And the coach, my God, their coach is great. Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Over in Miami.
Yep. NHL, you said you don't do much with it. I know card wise it's tough because you got OPG, you got Upper Deck, but they really don't pump out much product anymore. I personally like the 4 teams that are battling in it. I could see any one of these 4 teams, hoisting the trophy right now. Like it's just crazy. You got Dallas, Vegas, you got Carolina. That game last night. Did you guys happen to catch that
I
game?
heard about it.
4 overtimes ended 2:00 in the morning.
Wow. I'm glad I didn't get it.
See, when people don't, no offense, man, but when people don't pay attention to hockey or watch hockey, you are probably missing. Playoff hockey is probably the best sport you can watch on TV. And it's so intense. Like you're at the end of your seat waiting for something to happen, especially when you go to overtime, because you don't know how it's gonna end up. You don't know how it's gonna get tipped in. You don't know, what goalie's gonna make that mistake. And Man.
It happens so fast too. You don't see it coming. It's not like a boxing match.
Yeah.
Where one guy's dominating. You can just tell one guy's going to win. Like it's back and forth and back and forth. And any little thing can cause you to lose or win.
You got to admit, though, if McDavid doesn't do it here in the next year or two, I'm not sure he's going to stay in Edmonton, or I'm not sure Edmonton's ever going to win it with him. Draisaitl was their guy this year. He had all the goals. He kind of led that team. And I'm a big Draisaitl fan. I wouldn't trade Crosby for him, but I'd trade anybody else on the Penguins for him. In fact, I'd package guys up to get him. I just think he's a phenomenal player from that perspective. Who would you like to see the Lakers play? Who do you want to see Denver play in the finals?
Well, I guess Miami's playing great team basketball, very well coached. But you would want to see the Tatum Jokic matchup, right? Like,
yeah,
you want to see Tatum and Jokic go head to head, and I don't think Tatum would have an answer for him. They're sitting there throwing Anthony Davis and Rui at him, and this guy's got 21 rebounds and 14 assists and 30 points. I'm like, my God, that's crazy.
Why do you think the guys from Europe are so much more dominating anymore in the NBA? You have, Luka, and you got Joker. Why are they bringing a different brand of basketball to America than what we have in these colleges?
Yeah, team basketball, right? So they learn how to play as a team. They learn how to kick the ball around, screen. Don't be selfish with the ball. Don't send everybody to one side of the floor to play one-on-one. They learn how to dribble. They learn how to play an emotion offense.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
Who was your team down there in New Orleans?
At the time, for a while, I really followed the Hornets back when they were the Hornets with Chris Paul, David West, and Chandler.
Yeah.
They were a lot of fun. Lately, who have I been watching, pulling for? Just kind of depends. I kind of follow players. Back in the day, I used to follow Shaquille, of course.
Who's your favorite player now?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I really like Giannis. Giannis is just so,
He's a different breed of player out there.
Yeah.
Talk about somebody who's more of a team player. He's all it. He's really a good team player. They don't have much around. I don't feel like they have enough around him. How about that?
No, yeah.
I don't feel like they have enough around him. Why do you think the Wizards every year just sit there? They do absolutely nothing. How does an owner that has the Capitals go from having that team and wanting to win championships to having a basketball team that he's okay with them just being a 500 team, or squeaking into the playoffs, or being right below 500?
Or how about this? You have Rui, who really can't get on the court, and when he gets out there, he doesn't do much. So you send him packing, and you're like, you know what? That makes sense. Let's get rid of him. He's just not going to live up to his potential. And immediately, he's making contributions, and he's kind of a force with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, this guy's going to be really good and be like an all-star. Yeah.
They just
It's culture. Something about the culture is not right, because they had three guys that were basically almost all-star guys on their team. They had three guys, three good players, and they just couldn't get it done.
It surprises me. And then now they've got Porzingis, Bradley, Bill, and who's the other kid? Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a decent trio. It's not a super team.
No, but they're all legit players. They can all get it done one-on-one. They should be able to score.
What is it? The bench? You got to ask yourself that at the end of the day.
Probably fundamentals. Yeah. Bruce, who's your favorite NFL team, and who do you support, and what do you think of their draft or their off season? Let's say the off season.
Oh gosh, NFL. I'm more of a player, follower in that.
Yeah.
So I like Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pulling for him. I thought he was the best quarterback. I know we've had quarterbacks come through, but as far as coming out of college, I thought he was the best since Peyton Manning coming out of college. So I follow them a little bit, and not a whole lot other than him on the team. They got some good defensive players. Follow the Redskins. Can I say that?
Yeah, we don't care.
I don't want to offend anybody.
They're okay with it. I think Commanders fans still call them the Redskins.
Yeah. So, I follow them a little bit, Ravens, local. So, Jets fan, I kind of jumped on the Jets a couple years ago. I really liked that draft they had last year.
Yep.
Sauce Gardner, love Sauce Gardner. I think he's the best cornerback in the game.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson's a stud. The running backs a stud.
Brees Hall.
Oh, I love Brees Hall. That's
Yeah.
good. They got him too.
I think he's going to break out this year. I think him, Kenneth Walker, I think those dudes are going to break out this year more so. Well, Brees Hall got hurt at the end of halfway through last year, but I really think he'll be a stud this year. They've done some good things in the draft. The Jets really Saleh. How do you say that? Saleh. Yeah, I think he is the right guy for that job. He seems like a guy who knows how to treat the players, knows what he expects from them, and then same with his coaches because he comes from that Shanahan tree.
So how about the Jets picked up your buddy, running back, your guy from Pittsburgh?
Oh, yeah,
How do you say his last name?
Abanikande.
Say that 5 times fast.
Izzy Abanikande. Yeah, we just picked up a bunch of his rookies.
So I saw someone question that, but then you look at Brees Hall got injured, so he's not Brees Hall's like a 15 carry game guy maybe. So this would be a good fit probably.
Yeah, well for him,
runs a 4.3.
And the other thing about him is he's only 20 years old.
Oh wow.
I didn't realize that. He's got the same birthday as Vincent, October 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize he was that young. And,
he's a stud.
Brees Hall, if he doesn't pan out, that dude's going to give him something.
Mm-hmm.
He had a hell of a year at Pitt.
Yep.
I think he's second to Tony Dorsett, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
He had a 300-yard game last year.
Yeah. Coach Powell, the running backs coach,
Yeah.
comes down to recruits our area. And he actually said the kid is genetically gifted. He said he's a stud.
He's a stand-up kid.
Yeah. Yeah, they got Zach Coots in round 6 too. The tight end from Old Dominion, 6'7", blew the combine numbers away. Like he's higher than anyone's ever been.
Yeah.
Freaky athlete.
We're supposed to get Quentin Johnson on the show. One of the other guys who normally does the show with us, that's his cousin. So he's agreed to come on the show before he goes to camp. So I'm excited to see
Johnson, running back,
defensive tackle.
Okay.
Defensive tackle. He's going from Seattle to the Jets.
Okay.
So we're kind of excited about that. Let's talk a little primetime sports. What are you offering here? I know I kind of gave them the lowdown. How can I get it? Do you deliver only or send it out only in Frederick? Give them the spiel.
All right. So we have a small retail location in Frederick. We have the baseball cards, the football cards, all that kind of stuff. The boxes, sealed boxes. A little bit of pictures, helmets, baseballs, bats, all that kind of stuff. Everything's autographed. We don't do like wearable merchandise. I mean, you can wear it if you want, but we do signed jerseys. We do autograph sign-ins with retired players, current players.
Who's next?
Old school guy, Will Clark, baseball player, right?
He's not coming in though. You're just doing a signing with him.
Yeah, we're gonna go down to him. Up here, we're working on Michael Vick, Ricky Williams is who we're working on. If we get it done.
I'd like to see Mike Vick come in.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. A few months ago, we did Lawrence Taylor, we did Dominique Wilkins, we did Charles Mann, Dexter Manley, and then we did a private with Larry Bird. So, we do a lot of stuff. So
yeah, you do.
And then the LSU kids, Cruz and Skeens, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do something special at the end of the show for an autographed cruise ball. So stick around, listen to that. In terms of let's go hot products. What's the hot product on the market right now across the board, any sport?
Well, football's kind of still king. Local in our area, we're close to Baltimore, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Orioles fans. So for here, Rutschman, the catcher, his rookie stuff is coming out. Gunnar Henderson, the shortstop, third base, his rookie stuff's coming out. So all the baseball product this year is going to be good. Football, the draft class the last couple of years has been good, so that's going to be good. And then, we were talking about this, like upcoming, right? The basketball with the kid coming from France. I don't even try to pronounce his name.
Is he going to be the number one kid?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like Kevin Durant right now. Like it's
ironic San Antonio gets the pick. When you get a generational talent. Right?
Well, they deserve it, man.
Yeah.
They've been in the skits for how long?
Been in a while.
But
it was cool that they had Tim Duncan back in the day.
Duncan and Robinson.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they are the most unsung, underrated championship team to ever be in any professional sport. Yeah. Nobody realized. My son didn't even we were talking about it, and he didn't even realize that San Antonio was so dominant like they were very dominant.
Tony Parker, Ginobili, all going to be in the hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coaches in the hall. Everybody's going to,
Pop. Yeah, he's going to coach till they carry him off the floor. That's pretty certain.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy D's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
He's swimming. Yeah, he was. Where is it? Was it Puerto Rico? He's from.
Yeah.
Virgin Islands. He was from the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, he's from
Virgin Islands. He's a swimmer. One of the guys from Wake Forest, a previous basketball player, happened to be down there for a tournament. Saw him just shooting around, picked him up, talked to him. They ended up getting him, introduced him to Dave Odom, who was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
They brought him in and they got him. They
Were you there with Duncan?
I was there with him.
Did you know?
I played at Wake Forest.
Huh.
Yeah. We hung out a little bit. Parties and stuff. I mean, I was like best friends with him, but yeah, we did.
He seemed like the nicest kid.
Super nice person.
Super
nice.
So was David Robinson. I mean, he was a Navy guy.
Great guy, man. Timmy was awesome. Timmy D.
I had
great guy.
Back in the day, I had like one of those little silk jackets, a San Antonio jacket.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
I liked them. I rooted for them.
Bruce, what's your favorite sports card or memorabilia that you had to pick one? That's probably hard.
I mean, I have a Jordan. I actually just sold it. I got to ship it. Jordan Championship second year ball. So it's the whole team from Jordan's second championship. So that's actually sold, but I picked something else up that I'll advertise. But being where we are, we're close to the White House, and you get to know some people and do some things. And so I bought a basketball from one of the Secret Service people, right? And so when Kobe won the championship with Gasol, so the team goes to the White House under Obama administration, and they make the visit. So some of the agents have a Secret Service basketball signed by the whole Lakers team. The Phil Jackson, Kobe, so I bought one of those, and it's certified, everything's real. So that's probably one of my neatest items.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're keeping that, right? Everything's for sale. Everything has a price.
That's pretty neat.
I have the Jordan Air book signed, Upper Deck authenticated. I got that. Well, when it came out many moons ago.
Yeah.
That's probably my top piece of collectible. And then I have a Walter Payton rookie that I really cherish. It's from my childhood.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you a great Peyton story. Did y'all ever hear the story about this? I mean, I heard this. I'm not going to say it's 100% true for sure, but my understanding is true. There's a statue of him outside the hospital in Chicago that has a comment about for people that gave everything or sacrificed everything. And the story is, so he needed a liver transplant, right?
yeah.
So he was next up on the list, and they went to him and said, "Hey, we have a liver for you. However, there's like a 6-year-old or a 9-year-old or something behind you that isn't going to make it. They're not going to make it. So, we're not asking you to pass, but there's no chance. There's not necessarily a chance that we'll have another one ready for you if you passed it to them."
Yeah.
And he did. He passed it to the child who was able to get the liver and survive. And another one did not become available to him. And then he winds up passing. So that's the story about how he kind of,
Yeah, he was always one of my, he was a sentimental favorite to me.
Yeah, me too.
Always.
I love Walter Payton.
Yeah,
If you had to ask my favorite players, he'd be real close to being number one, if not number one.
Yeah, I could see
He
that
was so
easily.
fun to watch, man. Such a hard worker.
Oh, he was. I kind of feel like he could play, and next show we're going to talk about guys who could play in any era.
Yeah.
That's our next show. But I feel like he could have played in just about any era.
Oh, easily.
I feel like Barry Sanders could have played in any era,
Easily.
but we won't get into that now.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So hot products on the market right now. If I was coming in here and I wanted to buy baseball, I want to make an investment in some good baseball cards.
Yeah, Bowman baseball. Bowman baseball just came out. But definitely go with that.
Yeah.
Jackson Holiday, Drew Jones, and then all the rookies, Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson.
They're all in Bowman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Bowman baseball. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I really do. And I mean, it's like you open a pack of Bowman baseball and 15 cards are worth their weight in gold.
And then by the end of this year, we're talking about this. So you're going to have the kid from France coming to basketball who really is going to be a bigger deal than Zion, hopefully without the injuries. And then Connor Bedard in hockey it's going to be huge.
Is that going to give I know the industry took a little boost during COVID. Product was limited. People were buying it. You couldn't find it anywhere. It's kind of leveled off a little bit. Is that going to give it another boost and send it back up the chart?
So it's funny because with Zion coming, you knew the industry was going to boom, right? So it was already happening, but the COVID thing kicked it up even another notch. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was already going to be crazy, and then it kicked it up another notch, and then so like you said, it seems like maybe it's kind of calming down a little bit, going back to normal, and then you're going to have the hockey and you're going to have the basketball go bananas again. It should go bananas.
I'm a big hockey guy, so I kind of love that. I missed out on the Crosbys, even though I'm a huge Crosby fan. The boy and I love the Penguins. We missed out on the Crosbys, but I'm not missing out on the Bedards. I missed out on the McDavids too. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's an interesting character. I kind of feel, and I think I probably said this already, if he doesn't get something done here in the next year or two, I don't know. Like, you got to do something with that team. You can't keep investing in those two guys who make up so much money. And the NHL, they only have an $83 million cap. So, if 1/4 of your cap or 1/3 of your cap is two guys, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
All right. Who are your current projected hot players? I know you kind of mentioned kid from France. But are there any other guys coming out that you think that would be hot as far as the card market goes?
The kid, Connor Bedard in hockey, the basketball player, football and baseball. Gosh, it just depends on who. Do you want to pick up Jackson Holiday? Do you want to pick up? Are you a Bryce Young guy? Are you a C.J. Stroud? I like the kid, the running back from Texas that went in the draft.
Bijan Robinson. He loves them. Yeah. Those guys in our office, me, him, and another guy have some heated conversations about football.
Where did he go? Who took him?
He went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
He went to Atlanta, first-round pick. This is the first time in a long time the two running backs went in the first round. Him and the kid from Alabama went to Detroit, which blew my mind away.
I think they could have gotten later. But.
Well, to me, Detroit took that kid because he can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson can catch the ball, but he can control the game on the ground. You know what I mean? That's why they took him. Atlanta needed that.
Yeah.
That should be a difference maker for him. If you had to pick one of those quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round, Noob tells me I'm crazy, but I'm not a big Bryce Young fan. I think he's tiny. If you had to pick C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Levis, we'll throw Levis in there, and Hendon Hooker, who is, I didn't know he was 25 years old.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't realize that. But if you had to pick from those five guys, who do you think's the first one to go to the next level, in terms of his game?
I mean, I'll tell you who I like, right? And then, Bryce Young, stud, he did good things in the SEC.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as good as Tua, right? I don't think he's as good as Tua, meaning that, Tua is injury prone, right? But I thought Tua was better in college. And I think he's probably a better pro, so I don't see that. Stroud, I hate to throw the Ohio State mystique of quarterbacks on him, but again, he's an Ohio State quarterback.
You say it all the time,
right?
Yeah,
Mark says that all the time.
Again, you can go the whole way back, Art Schlichter. I can't remember an Ohio State quarterback that ever came out and was a stud. They're great at Ohio State, and there's a disconnect. I don't know if it's a mystique over them. Any other Ohio State player is always a stud. Receivers.
Joe Germain's, Miller. I mean, the list just goes on and on with guys that have come out, And then the Richardson kid at Florida, I mean, I saw him play a bunch, and he didn't look that good. I guess he showed flashes,
flashes of athleticism. I don't know if he's going to be that. But Mike had a great point. We were talking about it, and he said, he's got the coach that developed Jalen Hurts. He's got that guy.
Really?
And that's the same athleticism type of thing there. But Richardson's bigger than Hurts, right?
Oh, bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Stronger.
I don't know if I would I don't know.
And he's still new because, like,
Right.
really, I'll say he should have come back in the SEC another year and proved it, right?
Yeah.
But then why would you if you wound up being the 5th or whatever overall pick? Why would you bother to come back? You kind of felt like you needed to see more for him to be that high, but they see something.
He had a 50% completion ratio in the SEC. Okay, the SEC is probably as close as you get to the NFL in terms of players because so many of those guys make it to that level. I hope he gets a year to develop. I hope they have somebody there, that can let him develop for a year. Otherwise, I hope he doesn't end up like Jamarcus Russell or somebody like that.
I think they'll make it a favorable situation for him.
I read an article recently by Jamarcus Russell. I think it was in The Athletic. And Jamarcus Russell blamed all his issues on coaches. That's who he blamed it on. He said the coaches, and I'm like, come on, man.
Take some ownership.
Yeah.
I was at a Corey Webster, right? If you remember that name, the cornerback.
I do.
The Giant. I was at a Corey Webster fundraiser, and I mean, all kind of people were there. Patrick Peterson and this guy Joseph Adai and all these other LSU thing. And Jamarcus Russell comes in late to this fundraiser. Now I've already had quite a few beverages at the fundraiser,
Yeah.
so I go up to him. I was on my way out the door. I'll go up to him like, "Hey, Jamarcus, I'm a fan," which I did. I like the guy, I get it. But I said, "Hey, I just got to tell you, I seen Al Davis down there. This is when Al Davis was still alive. I said, hey, man, I seen Al Davis in the parking lot waiting for you to come on out. He's going to kick your ass about that signing bonus he gave you. He wants that money back, So it was funny. He chuckled, but he's a nice guy, And matter of fact, I also talked to, who was it? Was it Rob Ryan, right?
Yeah.
The brother, Rex's brother.
Yeah.
Was the defensive coordinator on that Raiders team.
Yep.
And he says, honestly, we were just set up to fail. That whole thing was a mess. The coaches coming in and out were all new. I think it was a young coach. I can't remember who it was. Was that Lane Kiffin or somebody all the way back then? It was
No, it was
who was it back then?
Callahan.
Was it?
It was Callahan.
Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just said the
that
whole
makes
thing
sense.
was
Yeah,
a
it was
mess.
Callahan.
Yeah.
It was just so.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, some guys' careers are marked like that. At least if he'd have been productive, though,
Yeah.
he could have hung around the league for 5 or 6 years and got a pension.
Yeah.
But
It's funny though. You just assume like just because they're in the NFL that everything works like and it's all well regulated. Everyone communicates and all that. I talked to a coach recently who coached with the Browns, and he said their staff, like their general manager and all that stuff, they didn't communicate at all with the coaches. And the coaches would give them, hey, we'd like this type of stuff, and then they'd ask them about certain players, and they would draft the opposite, like Johnny Manziel specifically. They did not want Johnny Manziel at all. Who'd they draft? Johnny Manziel. Can you imagine being a coach? And they're like, I don't want this guy at all. And then all of a sudden, there he goes. They get drafted. You're watching on the draft board. Can you imagine that?
no, I can't.
But there's dysfunctional organizations, as we've seen locally with Washington. I mean, they don't say it, but you kind of know. Certain guys were drafted, and that was the owner.
I don't understand how, though, those teams can continue to be in the abyss.
Yeah.
Like, the Cleveland fans, recently I read something, and I shouldn't even get myself down that rabbit hole, but, somebody from Cleveland's like, yeah, there's not 2 guys on any team in the AFC North that could start for Cleveland on the Ravens, the Bengals, or the Steelers. And I'm like, Jesus God, dude. They could probably make a super team from those 3 teams alone.
Right.
And you think that they couldn't start for the Browns?
Right.
I saw the numbers. Everybody wants to rave about Myles Garrett. Okay, I get it. I'm a Steeler homer. I get it. But reality speaks loud and clear. The numbers of T.J. Watt, the numbers of Myles Garrett don't even come close. They're not close. They're not close enough that you can be like, well, I could see how. No.
Did you hear T.J. Watt fall in the pool?
No, but I heard about that.
he was skimming the pool and fell in. Yeah.
Yeah.
He saved his phone real fast. He's all right. They say he's all right.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. That Herbig kid's going to be on the other side of him next year.
From Wisconsin.
Well, they're going to let the Highsmith kid walk.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to pay him. He earned himself a paycheck.
Yeah.
So
Steelers
Yes.
had a great draft, by the way.
Oh, they did.
They
They did. I mean, we
really,
hit that pretty hard.
Really, really well.
But the kid from the local kid going to the Saints, man, that's a pretty cool story. You got two local kids. So here's my contest for you people. Two local kids from the area, but one in particular, Jordan Addison was the #1 pick of the Minnesota Vikings this year from Frederick, Maryland. Frederick, Maryland also had a #1 pick to the Vikings in 1972. The first person to email me the answer of who that player was receives this Dylan Cruz autographed baseball. And there's the certificate of authenticity with it.
Nice.
And it says Dylan Cruz hitting cruise missiles. So first person to hit me up in my email with the correct answer to who that player was from Frederick, Maryland, that was the #1 pick of the Minnesota Vikings in 1972 will get that Dylan Cruz baseball.
Also won an NFL MVP.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that either.
I got to be honest, and I don't want to talk too much about it or we'll give it away, but it was my best friend's favorite player when we were kids. And everybody loved the Steelers, but he was a ball buster.
Wow.
So he had a poster in his room.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Small.
Yep.
That's neat.
Yep, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Any card shows or anything coming up that you want to plug?
Oh, gosh, just keep an eye out. Usually about August, we like to do a big sign-in because, when football season starts, it gets very busy and, games and stuff. The weekends, most people are doing football. So right before football season starts, we're going to do some kind of a big sign-in. Michael Vick, Ricky Williams, maybe something a little smaller too, a local flavor, Rick Dempsey. But, hopefully Cruz goes to Pittsburgh. We'll see, should. And we'll do some kind of an autograph signing, maybe up around the Pittsburgh area.
That would be fun.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, if you had to put a Mount Rushmore together of the sports card industry, your favorite sports cards of all time, whether you own it or not, one from Major League Baseball, one from the NHL, one from the NBA, one from the NFL, who would it be?
My personal favorites?
Yeah,
Just personal-
yours. This is your
personal-
Mount Rushmore.
Personal favorites, and it's got to be like a baseball card or something, right?
It has to be a sports card.
All right, so I remember as a kid, loved Jordan. I'm in New Orleans. The Final Four was New Orleans. Jordan hits the shot, so I followed his career all the way up. So the 86-87 Fleer Jordan, without a doubt, is an iconic card. That's our Babe Ruth, right? That's our generation Babe Ruth.
I
right?
agree.
So you got to put that on there. Hockey, I'm a little old school, so I got to go Gretzky, the Gretzky rookie, right?
That's such a cool card, though. It's
Right.
so plain. It's so bland. It's powder blue on the edges, and it's
boring.
It's
almost boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the boring cards. I'm still old school. When I get shit, I make a set. My wife's like, "Why do you spend all that money on putting a set together?" Well, I like making a set. And what's the value? I don't know. There's no value to you, but there's value to me.
So even though I was a Lemieux fan, I grew up a Lemieux fan, right? But the Gretzky, the Jordan, baseball. I got to go my personal favorite. I'm a huge Ted Williams fan. I love Ted Williams. So he's got I'm actually looking currently to buy a nice graded 1939 play ball Ted Williams. That's his rookie year. So I'm actively trying to track one of these down for me to have.
My dad had an older Ted Williams card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Ted Williams, Duke Snyder, or the full four.
Wow.
Yeah. They're all, they're rounded edges. They're not
Yeah, but
quality. Like
if it's personal,
Yeah,
and you're not
exactly.
thinking about selling it,
Yeah.
like
Ted Williams, the guy,
I get
though,
it.
right?
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Splendid Splinter.
Yeah. Just great hitter.
T206 Babe Ruth. That's or Honus
Didn't
Wagner.
he serve in the military too? Ted Williams.
He did go to the
twice.
military.
Twice. Yeah. World War II and then Korea. Got shot down in Korea. Drew Brees is a big Ted Williams fan, and he was able to contact the Ted Williams estate, and he bought like when you're a pilot, you have like this little log book. You take the book out and you write down, maybe stuff that transpired or whatever. So Brees bought the Ted Williams flight log book from the Ted Williams family.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Matter of fact, Drew Brees number 9 was after Ted Williams was number 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is neat to
That's
know.
pretty
I had
cool.
no idea. That's really cool.
And then who else? Football, huh? Gosh, I grew up a Marino fan. I love Marino. I'm still upset Marino didn't go to Pittsburgh. I wanted him to go to Pittsburgh back in the day, but
What the rumor was that he was into powder in his nose. That was the rumor around the city.
yeah. Well, they finally admitted it, right? The Dolphins finally admitted, 30, 40 years later, that they were the ones that floated that. They floated that whole thing to get him to drop in the draft so they could take him.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Dirty
and then
business.
yeah, well, last year when Kenny was coming out, the speculation was the Steelers took him because they missed on Marino. But I really don't feel this that way. And I said this to New 100 times in the office, if not 200 times. The Steelers and the Panthers practiced in the same area. The Steelers watched Kenny Pickett for 5 years. They know all the intangibles. They know everything about that kid. Their coaching staffs interact. I mean, it just made sense. It just made sense for them. And to be honest with you, I've read more than one guy this year that if Kenny Pickett would have came out this year, he would have been the number one quarterback taken because he's better than any of these guys. But last year, you and you're like, they should wait. The guys coming out next year are better.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that extra year in football and college, it can make a difference.
Yeah.
It can make a difference. It can expose your weaknesses, yet you still play on a winning team.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. It's a tough decision to make. Like kid from Carolina, he got drafted by the Skins or by the Commanders.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell got drafted fifth? What's the fifth round?
Yeah, I think it was the fifth round. Yeah, because
he's supposed to be like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
The year before.
Yeah.
The other guy reminds me of that was the year before was Justin Herbert was looking like a high pick.
Yeah.
And he stays the extra year, and then Burrow winds up going 1. But Herbert was supposed to be a top guy. And like you said, Howell's name was mentioned all over the place to be a number 1 or the first quarterback off the board.
Mm-hmm.
I was so disappointed that when Allen was coming out, when Herbert was coming out, that Pittsburgh weren't looking to replace Ben then. Like, I would have loved to have seen them taking one of those two guys. And they always said, we had a first-round grade in Mason. We were lucky to get him in the third round. I don't know how the hell they graded him. I mean, Mason's a great backup quarterback. I have no problem. I personally, I would have got rid of Trubisky, saved the money, and played Mason as number 2. But I don't see any possible way where he's a number 1 grade, first-round grade. So –
Bruce, how do we stay in touch with you and everything that's going on in Primetime Sports? What's the best way to do it?
So, for me, social media, I'm a Facebook person. I do a lot of Facebook. I have a lot of Facebook followers. You could look up on Facebook, Primetime Sports Collectibles out of Maryland, not others. There's a couple in other states, but, look up the Maryland. That's the business page. My personal page, I do a lot of same thing. I try to promote on both pages, information, stuff for sale, So my page, Bruce Fuselier Jr., Fuselier Jr. You can just add me on there or hit follow on the business page, and it's easy. You see something you like, you're like, oh wow, good price. I want one of those. Just message me, and electronic payment, and I ship it out. Goes right to your door. So
what's that Venmo?
Huh?
What's that Venmo? I know you got that Venmo. You take Venmo, right? What's your?
Oh God, yeah. Well, nowadays, gosh, you got to take everything. Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Yeah.
Do you have the same name for all those?
Just message me. It's all different, But yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Noobs, how do we stick in touch with you? I know you got a whole lot of crap going on you want to share back in the football coaching game. Noobs is behind the scene.
I'm in the shadows. I'm not doing too much. But anyway, check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Noob, Neub.
Yeah. Hey, check out our website and much more. Our website is podpage.com, original sports podcast with Mark Maraday. Like our Facebook page. Join our Twitter conversation, and you can also check us out on Snapchat. All those are OSP with MM. And you can also follow us on Instagram, watch our TikToks, and you can find us on YouTube, to be honest with you. This will be on YouTube. That is all Original Sports podcast. Feel free to let us know if you have any comments, questions, and don't forget our contest, you guys. Email us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com for a chance at this Dylan Cruz autographed baseball with a certificate of authenticity. The question is, Jordan Addison was the number 1 pick of the Minnesota Vikings this year. He's a Frederick native kid. Another Frederick native was a number 1 draft pick in the Minnesota Vikings in 1972. Who was it? Let us know. Hey, I want to thank Sean Ankoviak for doing our voice intro or intro and outro music by Charlie Hodgson and our webmaster, Terry Meriday. Join us each week to experience the O on the Original Sports Podcast.
Nice.
Gotta shut it down, baby.
Okay.
Sounds good. That was fun.